Hello, everybody. We're just about to get started here. I see a number of folks still in the queue, so we're just going to give it about 30 to 60 more seconds, and then we will get going. Thank you for your patience. All right, so I see we're about 1 minute past the hour, so why don't we get going here? Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Michael Gerard here, Head of Marketing for eSpirit, and the webinar you will see today that is with eSpirit as well as Royal Cyber is on 10 key success factors to deploy a headless commerce solution. All right, so starting in, first what I'd like to do, I want to introduce myself a little bit more, then I'll ask Asif from Royal Cyber to introduce himself. We'll go a little bit into some introductions for who our companies are, very quick on that note, and then we will dive into the 10 key success factors and share with you a bit more detail around technology, infrastructure, and partnerships for our success, and answer your questions. So as I mentioned, my name is Michael Gerard. I'm Head of Marketing of eSpirit. And let me hand it off to Asif for a quick intro, and then we'll get into our company intros.
All right. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. My name is Lala Asif Alana, and I lead Salesforce practice at Royal Cyber. I've been associated with Royal Cyber for the last 12 years, working in different roles on different e-commerce platforms, starting from IBM Webster Commerce, which is HCL Commerce now, SAP Hybris, Salesforce Commerce Cloud Practice. In today's webinar, we are going to talk about more on a complete headless e-commerce model in general, and a complete FirstSpirit hybrid CMS integration with e-commerce backend e-commerce platform in specific. Looking forward to this session, and hopefully we'll have a good session today with such a skillful audience. Over to you, Mike.
Great. Thank you, Asif.
Yeah, Mike. Please go to the next one. Okay, so now we are going to talk about the 10 key success factors to deploy a complete headless e-commerce solution. Now, these 10 key success factors we have documented based on our past proven experience with our customers, where we have deployed headless e-commerce architecture and implementation, along with eSpirit and the FirstSpirit as a hybrid complete CMS. So the first key factor, I will quickly jump onto the first key factor. So the first and the most important thing for the customers in today's market is they should know what their customer needs. And there are certain ways to identify what customer needs are. For example, when you are when the customer is on the shopping, on your website, there are certain analytics tools available which you can, through using those tools, you can record customer shopping journey from add to cart to the checkout to submit an order. You can check the customer journey, you can analyze the customer journey and see what customer needs. For example, why customer abandoned their cart on the checkout page, why your certain products are not getting sold out, why there are certain issues which are forcing customers to abandon their cart. So these are the ways to identify customer needs and what customer wants. Now, what customer need is actually. So the basic and the foremost important thing for the customer is that when the customer comes on your store, they want hassle-free checkout experience across all devices. For example, in today's market, more than 40% of the e-commerce shopping happens on the mobile. So if I start from my shopping journey, my shopping experience using the mobile, and I don't do the checkout there, I go on to the desktop version of the same site, I need to have the similar consistent shopping experience on the desktop version as well. If there are certain components, certain major components, let's say your look and feel of your card, your look and feel of your search page, your product page, if customer sees that inconsistent compared to what he saw on the mobile, I mean, you won't expect that conversion would happen. You will have the less conversion rate, and you can see this on this particular slide. Almost 44% of the cart abandonment happens because website navigation is too complicated for the customers. It's not a user-friendly navigation. It's not easy to use. The features are not there to use for the customers in an easy way. They are taking too long to do the checkout. So these are the way, these are the major reasons which can impact on your conversion. And there's a very simple rule of thumb that if you don't fulfill customer needs, they will hop onto the another side, and you will lose your business. There's a study which shows that almost 70% of the e-commerce shopping carts are abandoned. And these are the reasons. These are the major reasons. And out of those 70%, almost 40% are those which happens because your site navigation is not at the right place. All right. So the simple thing is that customer expects their shopping experience to be seamless, easy, and without any friction. All right. So now we'll jump on to what is headless commerce, why it is valuable, and what vendors are there in the market. All right. So I'll try to use or explain in a very simple layman language. So headless commerce compared to a traditional commerce architecture, where you have your both backend and front-end system very tightly coupled, even in the Dockers or in the microservices architecture, which almost all the e-commerce platforms are adopting, in today's market. Even there also, traditional commerce architecture is very tightly coupled. If you are making changes at the front end, you have to have the reciprocal changes applied on the back end. You have to take care of your back end if you're making any changes at the front end. Now, this is where the headless comes. You have your front end. Headless actually segregates your front end, application, or I would say your front end from your back end within your e-commerce application. For example, if you make any changes at the front end, your designers or your UI UX guys don't have to worry about what kind of functional impact it would make at the back end. There's no need of doing a regression kind of testing. There's no need of doing a kind of functional testing for that particular change, because it completely segregates your front end with from your back end. Plus, the major advantage of this headless commerce architecture is it actually lessens your dependency on your technical teams. Like it actually lessens the dependency of your business users, your marketing team, from your technical teams, from your developers. For example, let's say if any of your your front end changes are there, your designers or your business team, your marketing team does any front end changes, which are by using just drag and drop features, those changes are directly available at the storefront, at the front end for your customers to use those changes. So this actually brings some valuable benefits. This headless commerce architecture, or these changes brings up some valuable benefits. First benefit is there's a single call which your front end makes to your back end to get the data, to pull out the data from your back end, and then renders that data across all the devices. You don't have to make a separate API calls or REST calls to render that data across all devices. There's only one call. Now, what kind of benefit it brings? Let's say it saves your cost, it saves your time in terms of when your business users are independent, when your marketing team, when your UI guys are independent, they don't have a dependency on your backend team. It means you are saving time there, you are saving cost there. Plus, the time to market becomes very quick. You have your changes readily available. You have your brand changes, store changes, because in today's market there are sites. There are vendors who are selling their brands in multiple stores. So your changes become readily available on your stores, and you are ready to go to the market. So so these are some valuable benefits which this architecture brings. And okay, so there are certain vendors which are available, which includes FirstSpirit, Shopify, Mobify, BigCommerce. These are all the front-end CMS vendors which supports headless e-commerce architecture. And in today's webinar, Michael is going to talk about more on the FirstSpirit and the FirstSpirit side. Yeah, Michael, please go on to the next one.
Great, thank you, Asif. Appreciate that. So moving along here, key success factor number 3. So making it easy for business users to deploy and manage experience-driven commerce. And Asif mentioned a lot of powerful reasons of headless commerce and general commerce, but I wanted to tell it in terms of a bit of a story for the success factor number 3. I'm going to use as an example a Marathon sports store. It's a local store in the Boston area. They got a number of different stores in the area, and what do people like about Marathon sports and other stores that are favorites of theirs, brick and mortars. You know, they're vibrant, they're inspiring. In marathon sports, you go inside and you see pictures on the wall of marathon runners, famous runners, and you see running paraphernalia, shoes from the Boston Marathon 50 years ago. The staff is informative. They learn a lot when they're in there. It's personal, it's humanizing, and there's a sense of community. And what do folks get in general when they go to online stores? You're going to see this in many online stores. It's web-like, it's one-dimensional, it's product-oriented, transactional. It's very impersonal, and it's very predictable. Now, it's not that these merchandisers, the designers of these stores, it's not that they don't want to have a better experience, but it's what they're limited to based upon the e-commerce platforms, which honestly are just designed for transactions. Very powerful and it's needed, but it's not designed specifically to bring experience into the mix, to humanize the digital interactions. And that's really what you need in order to develop that view of the online e-commerce environment that fulfills the needs of customers. And so you need to inspire customers with e-commerce content-driven experiences. You need to personalize those experiences across any channel, and you have to enable your team to deliver these experiences quickly, at speed, as we say. And so this is this key success factor number 3, which is bringing together an e-commerce platform with a content management system. And that's why, as I mentioned with eSpirit, we've been doing this for years with top brands and integrating with Salesforce, Commerce Cloud, SAP, Spryker, BigCommerce, IBM, and now HCL and other companies. Key success factor number 4, I touched upon this a little bit in the prior one, which is enabling easy and rapid launch of unique digital experiences. And these could be shoppable images or videos, quizzes, pricing comparisons, bringing social media into your shopping environment for your customers that you can leverage the advocacy of customers. And I like to call that social media curation, adding other types of interactive elements. And instead of just talking about this, I wanted to try and show you in a really rapid demo a company 360-degree style that I'm going to use as the basis for this. And the editor at 360-degree style goes right into the view of their company in their commerce platform. And so let's press play. Hopefully this goes through. It's going to bring up for you a view of the video here. And so once again, you have the editor that's working directly within their commerce platform. And so the CMS and the commerce platform are directly integrated. So it's a seamless experience for the merchandiser or the editor or the commerce manager. On the right side, they're going to go into here and they're going to identify or look for what products that they want to include and be shoppable in their video here, which you see in the middle, right? Because you can just show the video, but wouldn't it be great to actually enable products that pop up as an end user views that video? So they do a search on the right into a digital asset management system. Once again, all this is part of the whole integrated solution of the commerce platform and the content management system. They open up the video, they press play, and they identify what part of that video they want to actually insert the specific product. And so you see here that they do a simple drag and drop of the product from the DAM or the PIM into the video. And then as we go in as the end user, now that that product's in there, once the product comes up in the video, it pops up into the right side. And so now at this point, you've made this video shoppable. And so an end user watches the video, says that's a cool product, it pops up in the right, and you can see another product just popped up. They can click on these and it'll take you right into the product detail page, and you have a seamless transition from the experience into the actual shopping aspect of the transaction or the buyer's journey. All right. So that was just a super quick example of making a video shoppable. And that is our key success factor number 4, making this easy for non-technical users. So a low-code, no-code environment enabled by a hybrid headless CMS that integrates with a commerce platform. Key success factor number 5 here, simplify the process of adding new channels and devices. And how this is done is tapping into the power of a headless CMS and really sort of the next generation of a headless CMS, a hybrid headless CMS. And for technical folks, I imagine you get this. So Steve talked a little bit about this, between the difference between the back end and front end. And for non-technical folks, I wanted to, in 30 seconds or so, 30 to 60 seconds, describe what we mean by headless CMS. And it's a very similar take on what Steve was mentioning earlier, but I'm going to add some very simple images here to help you out. The traditional content management system had the presentation and the content orchestration connected together, directly hard-coded together. And so the content orchestration, called the backend, content management solution backend, and the presentation is the front end. And so they were tightly integrated together. And so the front end is content delivery and presentation, it's input collection and front end code. The back end, this is the content orchestration. So you're creating content, you're storing it. There's some workflow, especially in enterprise class scalable situations, where as you're creating content, you want other folks to review it, edit it, you want approvals, a publish button, there's back-end code, there's administration. So once again, these were tied together for traditional CMS. And what happened as time marched on? So if you look to my left part, we had the person, right? The top part is the head, that's the presentation layer, and the content orchestration is the bottom. And these traditional systems were only designed for websites. All of a sudden, you have these mobile devices, applications come along, and the hard coding makes it very difficult for the mobile devices to easily extract the content out of that content orchestration layer. So there had to be some hard coding for the mobile devices. And you had all these other devices come along, and very quickly, the presentation layer expanded. And you had this explosion of devices, digital signs, wearable devices, other IoT devices. Not to mention, you have these applications for enabling commerce, SAP, Salesforce, BigCommerce, et cetera, and wonderful applications, but they need the power of content for these experience-driven commerce situations. And so what evolved is a separation of the presentation layer and the content orchestration layer. And so this is what we call headless. So the head is the presentation layer. The headless part is the content orchestration, and that's the body part of it. And so it separates the two, and it makes it very easy now for the front end, the presentation layer, to be managed differently than the back end, which means you can move more quickly, you're more mobile, you're more agile. Front end developers can utilize newer languages such as React, Vue, and Angular in order to develop these more interactive and inspiring front end experiences. And you don't have to mess with the content orchestration layer. So the two can go in parallel, if you will. So this is the concept of the headless CMS. The hybrid, I'll get that a little bit more later, but where the headless is coming up short is it wasn't designed for enterprise class, meaning lack of scalability, more specifically, no in-depth workflow for larger organizations to manage content across brands, regions, languages, different types of experiences. It's a much higher code environment in a headless scenario. There's a lack of deep integration into applications such as commerce platforms. You can't view and edit content at the presentation layer without significant work and effort, and there's certainly no ability to manage multiple fragments and see how the content fragments are behaving. All right, so moving on to our next key success factor. And this is, okay, great, we're able to actually use headless CMS, combine it with a commerce platform, we can launch the digital experiences easily, but we really need the capability to view and to edit content on any device, because the pure play headless CMS does not enable that. And this, as a marketer, I always think, boy, this is great. Any device can extract content or take content from my CMS, but boy, I'd like to know how that content's used. I'd like to actually have some impact on how it's used and what it looks like. And please give me that ability. Don't make it so that I have to waste, weeks or months for coding to be done to make that happen. And what about third-party or independent devices? I'd like to have some ability to view and edit content on that. So this is our key success factor number 6 for tapping into the power of headless commerce. And similar here, let me show you in terms of a very quick demo what I mean by this touchpoint editing and orchestrating omni-channel content management with this. And so what we're going to look at is using the power of micro apps architecture in the content management system. you can develop the ability to have a user interface such that I can look into my different campaigns, my different promotional modules. And so for this example, it's our 360-degree style company, and our merchandiser, our non-technical user, has a pop-up store opening party, and they want to have the ability to actually view, edit, control how content goes out to different channels. And so they go into their user interface that was developed through the micro apps framework or architecture, and this is by eSpirit's content management solution. They go in here and they can identify, okay, for my pop-up store opening party, I can put tags in here. I can identify which region it's going to be in. I can identify which channels, mobile app, voice assistant, online shop, what countries this content is going to be available for. I can modify the text in there. I can modify the images. I can modify shoppable content. And so I'm doing all of this through my content management solution. Now, as I dive in through this UI developed for it, I could dive in deeper. There could be a higher level, so I could do these changes more more quickly. I can change that. And then the real key here is I can actually see what it looks like on the different devices. And so this is this ability to view and edit. So I modified the content. Now I can actually see in the digital sign, what does it look like? Am I happy with it? Should I go back and edit it? And this is all within the context of this headless environment from a CMS perspective. I click the check mark, I approve it so I can publish it, and that's the workflow capabilities. And as I mentioned before, this is also making it available on the intelligent voice assistants through voice. So you can see on the left, I might ask a voice device, tell me about, new events in my region. And then as a result of that, it might actually give me the information about that pop-up event. All right. So once again, this is using view and edit for touchpoint editing, an important key success factor in our deployment of headless commerce. All right. Key success factor number 7, go hybrid, not pure play headless for your CMS. If anybody knows who this is, put it in the Q&A and we'll see if anybody can guess this. But that'd be a nice fun way to show that, yes, we have the headless where we have the content orchestration and the presentation separate, but we don't want to lose that connection entirely. And so what do I mean by that, and why do I say that? So more specifically, we talked earlier about the fact that there's this headless with the presentation layer, with the content orchestration layer. You separate it, and then the body or the content orchestration layer enables content to be pulled in by any channel. But there's also a significant advantage to being able to, I mentioned view and edit before, right? Empowering your users to change the content, but also enabling deep integration into other channels and other applications. So one example, eSpirit has a customer up in Canada, Reitman's, largest department store up there, and they wanted to A, use their commerce platform, but B, enable the use of progressive web applications. And they found that having a content management solution that could have headless CMS to enable content to be pulled in by PWAs, but also have a deep integration into, in this case, Salesforce Commerce Cloud, enable the Salesforce Commerce Cloud users to take full advantage of the Commerce Cloud capabilities, while also having the CMS very tightly interwoven and integrated with the commerce platform. Okay, and so what this enabled is deep integration into the commerce platform, along with the headless capabilities to the PWA, help their own content managers, merchandisers. It empowered them to control the content on the different devices, and enabled them to, in a more agile manner, to tap into new channels, new PWAs developed, and to scale content management across all of those PWAs, and ultimately create a very connected journey for their customers in a very efficient and scalable manner. All right. So that's a real sort of quick about the hybrid CMS and why this is our key success factor number 7, go hybrid, not just pure play headless. Number 8 here, key success factor number 8, tapping into the power of AI-driven personalization for individualized experiences. Yes, we have our content management and our commerce, but we should ensure that the commerce side of things is personalized. You have your recommendations for the merchandise, et cetera. But the content, the experience side of that commerce journey is personalized, right? Be it shoppable videos, be it pop-ups, whatever it might be. And so, for example, more specifically, eSpirit, we're one of the top two, the leader in the market leader quadrant for Gartner's Magic Quadrant for personalization, being able to enable you to tap into personalization to identify how your end users are behaving, to take internal data about specific end users, to take external data and combine those three, behavioral data, internal and external data, to create a picture of who your end users are, and then to create micro segments or even individualized segments or content that you can feed to these folks. And ultimately, we're creating an individualized experience for them directly within the shoppers and buyers experience and journey. All right. So that's a lot of words. Let me show it in terms of a build here, if you will. So this is a view of a top outdoor retailer. It's their commerce page. And as I mentioned before, you see this, this is not like a store. There's no real experience. And where's the interaction? Where's the excitement like in a brick and mortar? And so the first step here is inspiring with content. We talked about this. We got to make it very easy for our merchandisers, e-commerce managers, non-IT folks to bring content into the commerce environment. That's what the content management solution does at a minimum. That's just sort of the start of it, right? It could be pop-ups. It could be the sidebars. Now we want to personalize it, right? So we'll start off at the micro segment level. We'll enable the business users, the merchandisers and editors and marketers to develop content that can be used in the specific shopping environments. They do come in based upon who the micro segment is. So there's there's really a very rapid, dynamic digital experience that's created right within the shopping environment. Now that's the micro segment level. You can also go to the level of individual basis, right? So if I'm in here, right, I'm Michael Gerard, I'm in here, I'm shopping the right boat, and they say, yeah, this is for me, because they've been tracking through the personalization software how I search and my behavior. Maybe they know about something I already purchased for them and want to provide me an option for adventures with my new board that I just happened to purchase. And then, of course, getting this information, enabling this information to be pulled into and leveraged on any channel, be it if I'm walking around with digital signs, my mobile device, or even in store. All right. So this was our key success factor number 8, personalization and tapping into AI and machine learning to do that. So let me pass it back to Asif now, and he can finish us off with the final 2 here of our top 10.
Thanks, Michael. That was really a very, very helpful explanation of this hybrid CMS. Okay, so now I will talk about just a bit from the commerce side of this architecture. In my last slide, I talked about what is the difference between a traditional commerce architecture and a headless commerce architecture. And here we are going to see some difference between if you are just going for a pure and play headless commerce only, and compared to if you go with a complete FirstSpirit hybrid CMS architecture. What kind of difference you get? What kind of capabilities you get with one and not with other? So from the first and most important thing is most of your in fact all of the developers are not designers and all of the designers are not developers. So what happens when you keep this kind of architecture, a headless pure and play architecture, it gives you an ability, your designers an ability to completely focus on your front end, to create and to enhance and improve rich experience to engage customers, and at the same time you let your backend developers to focus on the implementation, on the pure functional behavior or the functional business logic. Now you get this capability with the pure and play. As I said in my earlier slide, that you have to make a single call to get the data out of the data out, and then pull the data and then render it on all of these channels of the devices. Now that happens with pure play, but what you don't get actually, once you get the data across all these devices, you still have to have your UI team involved to get that data rendered on all of these devices. So your UI team still has to control the experience of how the data would look like once it will be rendered on all the devices. So if we recall in the initial slides, I talked about that the user experience should be consistent. Like, let's say if I'm seeing kind of a checkout at the right top corner of the mobile device, I should see the same when I go to the desktop version of the application. So this control, this user experience control, for that, if you want, you will have to have a FirstSpirit complete hybrid CMS. It's similar to what Michael explained in slide number 6, that there's another thing which your business users, your marketing team, what happens, like for example, I was working for one of the customers, and for one of the e-commerce platform, which I won't name it now, there are 3 to 4 admin tools which are available for that e-commerce platform. So that customer was not happy. It was a B2B company. They were not happy in terms of using those 3-4 tools just to make use of the CMS capabilities. So they wanted to have one single dashboard available with all the CMS features from where they can drag and drop. So we created that, we developed that tool for them for almost 6 months with a very good price. So the thing is, if you want to have those kind of simple business users drag and drop capabilities, because most of the time your business users, your marketing team are non-technical. They want to have a very a user-friendly kind of a dashboard where they can just drag and drop those features and they can be readily available. So this is one of the things which FirstSpirit provides you with the complete hybrid CMS, which you don't get in Pure and Play. Plus, what happens is, which explained in slide number in key factor number 6, that most of the time your business users want, before launching their content or before rendering, before making it live, before making those content lives for different devices, they want to have a kind of a look and feel which how the customer would be looking at it. I mean, they try to anticipate the customer perspective before they actually make those content live. So that view, like, editing that view and previewing that content, across all devices, you won't get it on Pure and Play headless only. You will have to have a complete CMS, FirstSpirit hybrid CMS with you. Plus, what happens is sometimes you get, like, as Michael also said, that when they implemented eSpirit with complete hybrid CMS with Salesforce Commerce Cloud, their customer was also able to use the out-of-the-box features, let's say Einstein capabilities as well, along with the complete hybrid CMS. That is something which you don't get when you have just on the Pure and Play CMS only. Sometimes those out-of-the-box features, which are already being given by your e-commerce platform, you have to have do some more work to get them work in a way that they are provided. They've been provided out of the box. So yeah, I mean, if you want to go for a headless CMS, yes, the best would be to go for a complete eSpirit hybrid CMS. And Michael, if you go to the next slide, where I also talk about the same thing, that your business users, your business users wants to view, all your content, preview your content before they actually make those content live. They want to have the customer anticipation or customer perspective to see, but for that you have to have that. Complete FirstSpirit hybrid CMS. All right, Michael, yeah, if you move to the next one. Yes, so now we are going to talk about a bit more on the headless architecture, how actually it looks like, how it actually, we have segregated in the form of a layer. Michael, if you go to the next one. All right, so see, this is how your pure headless CMS architecture would look like. Now, this is a Pure and Play CMS headless only architecture. Not the one complete FirstSpirit hybrid CMS. It's just the Pure and Play headless CMS architecture, where you have this CMS, this content orchestration layer, from where you are going to make a call to your backend system, to your e-commerce platform. It's a single call, and you get the data pulled from your CMS, from your backend e-commerce platform, and get it rendered and get it displayed on all these devices, and with a single call. But again, as I said, that here on the top portion in the presentation layer, your UI team would play a key role to have this control, to have this data rendering available for all these devices. And as I mentioned here, that according to Gartner's report, 80% of digital experience platforms will be deployable in hybrid headless fashion by 2022. And this is happening. This has already started happening. One of the top, top retailers, apparel brands like this Redmond's, they have already moved to the headless commerce architecture. Mike, please go to the next one.
Okay. So thanks, Asif. Great. So more specifically in the CMS side. So as Asif mentioned, Gartner, we have our Gartner report. It's really sort of the coming of the hybrid headless CAS content management solution. Feel free to check out espirit.com. You can get a download of that specific document, but it's something that we've been evolving. We were essentially born headless, if you will, 20 years ago. Over the years, we've evolved, offering our content as a service, and we evolved into hybrid over the past couple of years. And that's enabled us to be recognized as a visionary in Gartner's Magic Quadrant of content management solutions, a market leader on research and actions, 2x2, if you will, and also most recently, just in the past month or so, Forrester put us on their list of agile CMS vendors. And so what we're offering and what we've delivered to our customers over the years is a combination of this hybrid headless content management solution coupled with an AI-driven or machine learning-driven personalization software and the ability to get this content in a personalized manner to any device. And a real key aspect here, a real key differentiator for us as an organization is that we have very, very strong interoperability for integration in any ecosystem. And this is as a result of a flexible architecture, microservices architecture, our ability to be hybrid, but at the same time, decoupled or coupled within the same architecture, making it very easy for our customers, be it IT folks or business users, to use, offering the ability of what we call an experience accelerator or a toolkit and then some to enable you to reduce deployment times by up to 75%, and then making sure that you can shift as needed. So whatever your ecosystem might be, whatever applications you may have, whatever solutions, even if you have other CMSs and you find that you're unable to extract yourself from them, but you need to be more agile, we can interoperate with those systems as well. And so we bring all those together in an enterprise class format to enable you to turn your customers into lifelong fans. And we've done it for many, many customers and love to get the opportunity to do it for you with Royal Cyber. So let me pass it back to Asif to finish us up here.
Thank you. Thanks, Michael. So as a service provider, as a system integrator, as a solution providing company, we have, we are now partners with eSpirit, and we combinedly work on this implementation as a e-commerce implementation provider, and now as a eSpirit implementation provider as well. So and we have been doing this, for lots number of customers. I mean, the customers which I talked about, the clientele which I talked about. For example, if I just name those customers, like for example, Abercrombie and Fitch. I mean, we did the e-commerce migration for which came to us as a migration project, and now they are with us as a technology partners. Omega Engineering, Office Brands. These are all the companies who are with us for a long time. And our services, support packages. We also do training and enablements, implementations, integration services, middleware services, and now with eSpirit we are into this this mode of implementing headless commerce architecture for our customers. So what you do is actually we have a team of completely skillful resources who have expertise on eSpirit as well as on e-commerce platforms, and you get the combined package. You get everything on the one shop under one umbrella, where you can have get the complete implementation out from one vendor. And once we do the implementation, then yes, I mean we do have a very thorough and dedicated support services model, where we have availability metrics of our team, which we have a help desk support team. Like for example, in the support, you do the call, and if there is a severity down, like side down issue, you get it fixed within an hour. So this kind of support metrics we have available. We do give trainings and implementations. We have been doing it for lots of our customers, across the globe. We have more than, as I said, that we have more than 70 resources working in Saudi Arabian region, which are directly working from the customers' locations. So we have been in this e-commerce industry for the last 20 years. Carries huge experience, extensive experience with a complete skill set of implementing this e-Spirit, along with FirstSpirit hybrid complete implementation with any of the e-commerce platforms.
Wonderful, thank you, Asif. Appreciate that. Little bit extra in this last slide here, and you'll get a copy of this deck, some additional resources. Please feel free to take a look at it. Gartner's recent research report on the hybrid headless content as a service, how it's the future of digital experiences. Asif mentioned this one. You can click on this link and you can get free access to it. We also have more details around hybrid CMS and the next generation of a headless CMS. From a tool perspective, wanted to help you out if you are in the current process of looking for a new content management solution. We offer an RFP, request for proposal template, to get you started, and you can download that. It's in a Excel or Google spreadsheet format. Many questions already in there, and you can go in there and edit it, make it your own, of course. And additional information about leveraging a CMS coupled with your commerce platform to bring experience-driven commerce to life. All right, so let me stop there and ask Abba if we have any questions that we can answer. As I see, we have time for maybe a couple of questions.
I just want to add one thing here. So guys, just wanted to add one thing. If, for example, if you're looking, as Mike said, if you're planning and looking for a different and a complete, concrete content management system, we are there to help you. We are there to assist you. We would be reaching out to you pretty soon after this webinar. And Mike, I think we can also propose them if they want to have a free demo. We can also do that for any of these audiences, who are part of this webinar today. So we can go for the free demo, which will give you, a kind of a runtime or a live navigation and interaction of how this complete platform, works.
Absolutely, love to.
All right, great.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, everyone, for your time.